guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Evie if you're new here. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. It's going to be a chit chat. Get ready with me as I do this makeup look. We're going to be talking about how women go from fantasizing about romance like Disney and the movies that we've all watched growing up, to the real life scenarios that are out here and the slow evolution of angels to for lack of a better word. So enjoy. I don't know who is watching this video. You're probably a guy, and if you're a guy, you're gonna feel so uncomfortable by this video probably, and if you're a girl, you're gonna relate a lot to what we usually experience, or what most of us usually experience in love, dating, relationships. Like, this video is not supposed to make anybody feel like there's no hope. I'm doing my makeup as we talk, so this is not to make anyone feel like there's no hope. Like, if you're a girl out there, there is hope in love, but it's going to take you a long while to get there. And if you're a guy, it's not to make you feel less hopeful to meet a girl. I don't know if you're a guy what you're supposed to expect, but I'm a girl, so I'm talking for the girls. So this is every girl's love story. So when we grow up, when we are young, we are in our teens, or even before we are teenagers. Let me start even before we are teenagers. When we are small, living under our parents' roof, watching Disney and all this like cute cartoons and animations about love and about people, animals meeting their one and true love, and they get married and they get kids and then they grow up. And basically these animations teach us that life is a one-way ticket. Like, you fall in love with one guy and you get married and you have this amazing love story and you just end up experiencing life together. Well, you reach your teenage years and you get a crush, and then you realize you can get multiple crushes on multiple guys that look multiple hot. I think I've said multiple too many times. But yeah, you end up getting so many crushes. I, for one, had like 4 or 5, Justin Bieber included. Like, I had the Bieber fevers probably like for 2 years in my teenage years. I then ended up having a crush on Henry from Henry Danger. I crushed on Chris Hemsworth so much when I was in high school. And that's when you start realizing that you can end up liking a lot of guys. And this is every girl's love story. This is how it starts. It starts from those meaningless crushes, and that meaningless crush that you had back in, well, it wasn't probably meaningless, it was probably the most meaningful love story you've ever had. That boy in class, you were in the same class, or maybe he was in another class from you, but you're in the same school, you get the point. And it's so, like, there's not even kissing. Like, the worst you do is probably hug. Those type of crushes were cute, and those types of love stories were cute. So you end up going to uni or college, and you grow up and you start now realizing that you can do more things. You can kiss now. Maybe you kissed in high school. This is not to fault you for kissing in high school. This is not I also had my first kiss in high school and it was a girl. Oh my god. But yeah, this is not to fault you if you had your first kiss in high school, or your first your virginity stolen in high school. This is not to fault you for that. But depending on when you first lost your virginity, or you first experienced physical intimacy with a guy, then it all goes the same way. Like, he's probably not the guy you're with right now, and if he is, I am so happy for you, because that's not usually the route most girls go through, and for me it wasn't. So yeah, you end up getting into whatever stage it was, you explored your intimacy, then you end up exploring your intimacy for the first time with a guy that you ended up liking. It was probably by force, he probably coerced you into it, or you probably just went into it together because the two of you were experiencing it for the first time. And usually that's probably the best outcome when the two of you are experiencing it for the first time. After this relationship, this ends up being the point where most of us girls quit on love and think that it's nothing special, and you probably start hating all men depending on how it ended. This is the point where you start hating all men and seeing relationships as not that big of not something you want to chase because you want your happily ever after, and you start staying away from men until that one guy comes and probably makes you feel like, okay, maybe this could work. This guy ends up treating you like a queen. He probably asked you your body count and you probably told him, I just had one body count. And this guy says, this is definitely a wife material. If you're dating an older guy at this point, he's gonna treat you so good, so well. Oh God, you're gonna probably end up marrying this guy until you find out that he wasn't all that. He was just treating you nicely because you had one body count and because he thought you're marriage material. You haven't experienced a plethora of men to have any negative opinions about them or to know who's the best and who's the worst. So yeah, after marriage, you end up realizing, girl, this man is treating me like trash. And it's not usually your own revelation. It's usually your friend who told you, nah, this guy, he's beating you, he's cheating on you, like you need to leave him. And a lot of girls end up getting married at the age of 22 or 20 and then end up being divorced at 25 because this guy was putting on an act to lock you down in a state where you cannot leave him. But then since the modern age has normalized us getting into relationships and getting married and quitting marriage, you end up, divorcing. And by the way, this is not my story. This is a story of a friend of mine who ended up getting married young and they ended up getting divorced because this man was all an act. So yeah, in this story, I'm going to be telling multiple people's stories, my story is included. And for girls that didn't end up getting married in their second love story, then this is probably how it happened. This guy probably treated you amazing because now you have standards and now you feel like, okay, maybe I can experience love in a different way. For many girls, this is usually the one relationship where we don't give away sex too easily. Like, we don't give up intimacy that fast because of how our first time turned out. We didn't think it was such a big deal. Probably it was painful. Probably it was nothing big of a deal. And this guy probably ends up coercing you to having and to having physical intimacy, which you don't really want because you don't want to have cheap experiences or you don't want to have boring experiences. So for many or most, probably little, I don't know if it's for everybody, we end up having such high standards of our sex life and not expecting any less. And we don't end up finding out or figuring out our bodies because we are young. This is just our second relationship. And this guy is probably like, okay, she's cool and all, and I have to work for it, and I have to be this kind of guy so that I can. Basically, this guy ends up acting. And for many girls, your second relationship is usually a man fitting your standard to bag you. And when he finally does so, he probably leaves you to the side. And it's unfortunate, but it happens. It has happened to me. It has happened to many of my friends. And then you start realizing that even if you're hard to get or even if you don't give it up too easily, guys will still leave you. Guys will still treat you like trash. Guys will still cheat on you. Guys will still not see your worth. And so you end up breaking up. And then you get into a period where now your mental state is that even if I play hard to get, these guys will just treat me like trash. So I'm just going to, I don't know. For some of you, it could be, I'm just going to give it up to the next man I see, probably experience everything. Or I'm going to close myself off and wait for the right guy. The second one, if you're the second person, then you're me. And usually this is when character development starts to kick in. And if you're the first girl and you end up freeing yourself from the physical, from the societal expectations of how women should be and start embracing your own sexuality, if this happens by the time you're second relationship where you experienced where you gave up physical intimacy. I'm not talking about the girlies that save it for marriage. Nah. If you're that girl, then okay, fine, big up to you. But yeah, if you're the second type that now is closed off and you don't want these guys because now you've realized even if you play hard to get or you don't want it, these guys are gonna go and get where they are going to get it. Like, you're not the only one because guys will do what they want when they want, but you haven't realized that yet. So yeah, you end up getting into your third relationship now, and this guy is usually the most toxic, the most self-serving, the most, oh my god, I can't even begin to explain. This is the guy that teaches you how life actually is. He treats you like a princess, but at the same time makes you like question your worth. He probably makes you feel like you don't want to be intimate, but at the same time he's so appealing that you end up doing it anyways. And this is probably usually the best sexual experiences of your life, because this guy is all the toxic ways. We're talking about Damon in his prime. Like, so in as much as they do like you or they do love you, they are free. And I don't know what it is with such kind of men, but they're so appealing. So yeah, this man ends up breaking your heart 10,000 times, and you're like, oh, what do these men want? And now that's when you start looking up YouTube videos of what men want and how to detach and blow up and move on. What do men look for? What do men like? Like, what does it mean when a man does ABC? Like, those are the kinds of videos you're searching up on YouTube, because you don't understand. When you give it up to them, they think you're cheap, they think you're easy. But if you're so hard to get, or you play hard to get, or you're not that convincing to be intimate with, they're gonna look for it somewhere else. So now they don't want a run-through girl, but they also don't want as such a I don't know, like, at this point, this is where you get confused and you start looking up all these videos teaching you about romance and sex and all these things, all these different types of things, and it kind of becomes like a game. At this point, you realize that it's a game, and this is when your brain finally opens up. And if you're lucky, this is the point where you start being free, like you start being sexually free. You don't attach your sexual relations to what men think. If you like a guy, if you think he's hot, you're gonna go for it. If you don't think a guy is hot, you're gonna put him in his place. Now, this is the point where sexual freedom starts to creep in. And if your sexual freedom already crept in by your second romantic or intimate or whatever romantic relationship, then it goes differently for you. This is how it goes. You end up meeting a very good guy, like a very nice guy. They want their happily ever after. They're looking for the partner that will, they will grow with, and they will treat a certain way. They're looking basically to be a boyfriend. They're looking to be a husband. They're not looking for a girlfriend. They're not looking for a wife. They want to become that man for you. But now you already experienced your sexual freedom, and you go with the flow. Like, you're detached from societal expectations of how a woman should be traditionally. So this guy ends up not being your guy. Two things can happen in this scenario. Either he loves your freedom, like your new sense of found freedom, and loves this version of you, or he hates it. He absolutely hates it, because he hasn't experienced that much of or intimate feelings. He hasn't gone through the character development, or he hasn't seen any woman so sexually freeing as you are. Like, why do you want to, like, he starts asking questions like, you are so horny all the time, like, why are you always into having all the time? Like, when you teach him how to please you, he starts seeing it as a thing that women shouldn't be knowing, like women shouldn't be doing. Like, it's a surprise for him. But if you meet a guy that knows these kinds of things and appreciates the fact that you embrace your sexuality, you end up getting married, and it's usually the best marriage of your entire life. Like, it ends up being the best relationship of your entire life. You end up being best friends because you know each other, you experience each other, you know each other's goofiness. This is usually the healthy kind of relationship, and it's the one usually people say that you get it in your third relationship, or it's usually the one that people say you get it after your toxic one. Yeah. That's when it happens. Now, all these experiences could happen through multiple partners, like 5 to 10, and for some people they are very emotionally woke. They've read the books, they've seen the movies, they know how these things go, they know reality, they've experienced life through other people, and it could take probably 3 to 5 or even 2 to 3. Like, it could happen anyway. It could take you years, or it could take you one sexual experience to learn all of these things. Or maybe you're not so ignorant as to know how men think and how men act and how men behave. You actually take time to learn these men, and it could probably take you just one relationship to find your happily ever after. But is it like that in the modern age? No. I'm talking in the experience where it's not that easy to come by. Like, if you are the lucky girl that found her love story in the first try, then good for you. This is a space for us girls who it took 2 to probably even 10. Actually, 2 is even little. This is for the girls that it took 3 to 5 or 3 to 10 relationships to finally get that perfect one. For those that it took more than 5 relationships, or to the point of boredom, or to the point of seeing men as nothing. You know, there's this thing that's usually said on TikTok that an average woman is a high value man. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. Now, when you start realizing that that is actually true, that an average woman is indeed a high value man, that these men out here, they want to be taken out on dates, they want to be chased, they want to be treated like queens and princesses, like they don't yearn anymore, that they don't, how do I put it? Like, they're just looking for a woman to be by their side while they go for the ones that now they want. Like, when you start realizing that, it becomes so tedious, it becomes so devastating, and that's usually the modern life of a lot of countries. You know, it could be probably you come from a country where women are scarce, hence why men have no other option but to be their best selves. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about countries where there are so many women. If you are not giving up that easy, there's always going to be another woman who's gonna give it up easy. If you're trashy and you give it up too quick, there's always going to be another woman who's going to give the guy the chase. If you're not this way, then a guy will always find this way, the other way. And if you're this way, then a guy will always find the other way. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of experiences that I'm talking about. Otherwise, if you are having it easy, then good for you. If you don't feel the need to, it comes a point where you're like, I'm just doing it for the plot. If you've never reached that point where you now do it for the plot, then this video is not for you. I'm sorry, but this video is not for you. So yeah, and usually the I'm doing it for the plot thing comes after you've experienced your toxic relationship, you've experienced a rich guy, you've experienced a poor guy, you've experienced all kinds of men, and you've found that all of them are the same. And now what you're looking for is something that can excite you, because you're so emotionally drained from allowing all these different kinds of men to come into your life. Or maybe your toxic second relationship was so adrenaline filling and so exciting, but now that you come into a healthy relationship, you don't know what to do with it. And it could happen to men and women. There are women who are so toxic that they keep you on your toes, and when you get into a healthy relationship, you end up fucking it up because you're not used to this healthy dynamic. You're not used to us coming home, having dinner, sleeping, maybe having some intimate acts, and then waking up in the morning, maybe doing it again, and then you wake up and then you go to work, and then you come back home, and then it's hi, let's have dinner, let's go out there, and then you just sit. Like, there's no emotional trail, there's no yearning, there's no chasing, there's no oh, I hated that, oh, I love that, oh, I'm crying. You don't wonder where he goes because he's so loyal and he tells you everything that he does, and she's so loyal, she tells you everything that she does. She doesn't even have hobbies. All she does is just sleep all day. So she doesn't have, like, there's no there's no thrill in this relationship, because you've been so used to a lot of relationships that brought life into your life. Like, now you want to start experiencing things for the plot. Now you start yearning for such kind of experiences. So what was this video even about? Do I know? I want to put on these lashes, see if I can. So I'm going to do it. This is how my eyes look like. They look so naked. So I'm going to put this on. First start off by curling my lashes, and then I'll come back and then we can finish off with the rest of the story. Finished doing my lashes and it took way too long. It took like 1 hour, but for a first time I think we look nice. For my lip combo I used this vinyl lipstick by Maybelline, and then I topped off with this Squeeze and Shine just a little bit, just to give it some color. That's why you see the purplish hue. But anyways, out of makeup, we were talking about love and how for us women, we are taught, like as girls, we are taught that love is like Disney. You find your true love and you get married, have kids, and you live happily ever after. To when you come into the real world, like multiple relationships change you and you end up feeling hopeless. Is hopeless the right? Hopeful? Hopeless, yeah. Like you don't have any hope for finding real love and actually settling down for love in relationships or in marriage. Most women right now don't even want to get married because we find that a lot of the reason why a lot of women feel like marriages are a scam or marriages drain so much out of the woman is because you'll marry a man, this man will lock you down, not necessarily because he loves you and he wants to build a life with you, but because he wants a secure person. Because for men, getting married and having a wife is a status symbol in society, especially here in Africa. In my country, Kenya, for example, a man who has a wife has a good thing. Like they can, whenever we go for gatherings, family gatherings, you'll find the men saying, I have this wife and my wife we have 3 children, and it's such a status symbol. Whereas for a woman, it's not really a status symbol. If anything, walking next to a man is kind of embarrassing unless that man is providing a lot of things for you. Because even if you buy yourself a car as a woman, as an independent woman, as long as you're dating a man, they will always assume that the things that you have were gotten from the man that you're with. And it's never a win-win scenario, because this man will lock you down because he wants a status symbol as a wife. Like he wants someone to come home to, who can cook for him, who can clean for him, who can look after him, who can give him children and look after his kids. Whereas he goes and has fun with the run through bitches that are his type. So I'm sorry for the term, but it is true. A lot of men, especially when you go to clubs, even when you don't even go to clubs, they're everywhere. You'll find a man will hit on you, yet he has a wife, he has kids, and he's like, oh, my wife isn't that yada yada yada, whatever sub story that they give you or whatever story that they give you. Like right now, relationships have become so pointless and I'm sorry to say this, but they have become so pointless, because even when you do find a healthy relationship as a woman or even as a man, because women can also be toxic, even if you go to look for those relationships, you're always going into that relationship not with your whole heart, but you're always guarded. Like you're cautious because you know one day this guy will disappoint you. One day this girl will go and I don't know, will probably cheat before you cheat first. Like it's like a tug of war and a game where we all want to win. And most of the people stay in relationships because they know they can't find, or rather they know that it will take them way too long to find another relationship that is as reliable as the one that they are in. So they'd rather stay in the toxic or in the boring relationship that they're in right now, because they don't want to go out there and suffer in the hands of toxic men and toxic women and all these games that, oh, you shouldn't text fast, oh, you shouldn't do this. Like love isn't love anymore. Like it's not like in the past where a man would love a woman, take everything, do go up above and beyond to acquire this woman, buy her flowers, bring her everything, like treat her amazing, and this woman will cook for him, clean for him, take off his jacket when he comes back from home. And like it's no longer like that in the real world. Even if online couples portray that sense of security, it's usually because they want to portray that so that they can also get in the coins. I mean, it's like we wouldn't watch a toxic family on YouTube and idolize it and gain views. Like, it wouldn't gain views basically. So yeah, even couples on YouTube that we used to admire and look up to are no longer it anymore. Like, you find that your famous or your best couple on YouTube, the man cheated on the wife 10 times, 20 times, the woman just sat on it and hoped for the best and just learned to deal with, like, it's all a sham basically. And I feel like it's because women, I usually believe that women are inherently good. Like, there's no woman who is born evil or born wanting to be toxic to a man. I feel like it's because when women grow up, they land in the hands of very toxic men, and men that show them that men aren't it, and men aren't the Disney character that we all grew up thinking. And women end up being evil, or women end up being guarded because of these men that treated them like trash. They end up not caring about sexual experiences. They end up pretending that they are traditional. They end up pretending that, I don't know, like, it's all so fake at the end of it all. Like, real love is not, how do I put it? You can't get married. Like, if you're not married by the age of 30, you cannot expect to be married to a good guy, or you cannot expect yourself to marry into a relationship that will be filled with love and affection, because you are both always guarded. Like, you will always think that your husband will cheat on you one day, so you won't love him to the same intensity that you would if you trusted them wholeheartedly. And as a man also, you'll think that your wife will probably cheat on you one day, so you won't love her to the same intensity that yeah. I feel like if I go on, I'll just keep on rambling, but you get the point. I don't know what your thoughts are. This was just a rambling. This was not meant to give any advice or any opinions on relationships or anything. Like, it was just a rambling chit chat and sharing how women evolve through relationships. That's it. So if you guys related, and if your story kind of sums up like this, then please do agree with me in the comments, because I'll need that validation. But if it's not like that, and I'm probably the only one, or maybe if my friends and I are the only one, then okay, fine, it's another way to learn. But if you're young, if you're watching this video and you're young, you're under 18, you haven't had any sexual experiences, just know that most of the time that's how you're going to end up experiencing life. But I'm not saying it's a guarantee. You might find the love of your life in the first try, but it is so hard right now to find love. Even a lot of Gen Zs don't even want to love anymore. They just get into relationships. Once they get a child, they leave or they exit. Like, it's like that now. Like, we are only chasing the thrill of romance and relationships. Once that romance and thrill is over, we quit it. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.